Welcome back to the program. I promise I will get to every single comment for the Dr. Drew interview. I haven't had an opportunity yet. I've been talking to publicists all day and things like that, but I will. So check tomorrow, and when you watch this video, go back to the next one. I will have answered your comments, okay, first and foremost. Sadly, if you don't know, John is no longer with us. He was, I hate to say this word, but scheduled, I guess, to expire Monday. And so he is resting in peace and hopefully in a better spot. He was in a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort. His kidneys were failing. His heart was failing. The mechanical heart that he had put in was failing. And right to the end, just tough as nails, and was very brave, but actually told me over the phone. We had a private Zoom call on Sunday before with Marlene, and he just let me know. He's like, I'm tired, I'm done, and I'm looking forward to Monday. So he's he's resting in heaven right now, and may God rest his soul. He was a very big part of the show for a very long time, and so now I'm kind of doing some of the things, not all of the things, but some of the things. I actually edited the Dr. Drew Pinsky interview myself, so proud of that. And I've done a couple others. I did the Montel Williams one, and I've done some others. So here's where my skill set lies right now, okay? The Monday night show with Jeff Carriere, no problem. I understand how to do it. It's not that hard. You convert an MP3 to an MP4 and you add a picture, cut it, find the spot where the interview starts, boom. Haven't been able to figure out how to take the commercials out, so I do apologize for that, but maybe we'll get there soon enough. And then interviews. I know how to do interviews, so I can do an interview with anyone, and when that interview is done, it won't just sit there and just wait. I'll know how to put it together. I may not know how to do the promo and the guest intro yet, but I'm working on that. But I definitely know how to cut it and do all that. So I'm excited about that. What I don't know how to do is key out the green screen, put in the clips, put in the banners, the ads, the advertisements, all that stuff. And possibly Marlene is going to be working on that, learning how to do that, and will probably take over for John, perhaps maybe in January. We'll see how that goes. Tomorrow, or Thursday, because it's Thursday now, and it's tomorrow right now, a buddy of mine is going to be coming in from Las Vegas to stay with me, and we are going to be going to Turning Point USA in Phoenix. So if anyone here is local and you want to see me and you've got tickets, I think you can get them the day of as well, then please come to Turning Point. I'll be there Friday and Saturday, both those days. But my buddy Evan Sayet, if you don't know who he is, you can look him up. But Evan's a really funny guy. There's a possibility, I haven't talked to him yet. I might spring it with him when he gets here. But Friday night, we might actually do Full Access Friday sitting next to each other together. Now, Evan is hysterical. He's actually a stand-up comedian. That's what he does. He's been playing at the Laugh Factory for many years. He's been playing some pretty big venues. There's an Amazon Prime comedy special that he has. He used to be on the left many years ago in the 90s. As a matter of fact, he was the head content writer for the Arsenio Hall show many years ago. You remember him. And then he also worked with Bill Maher before Bill Maher had Real Time. He had a show called Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher. He was the head writer of all the jokes for Bill Maher back in the day as well. He also has one of the largest watched and respected Heritage Foundation speeches in history. You can check that out as well. He's a very, very bright guy. And so I've known him for many, many years. And he's going to be coming into Arizona, of course, to go to Turning Point, and he's going to stay with me for a couple days. So looking forward to seeing him again. So that'll be Friday and Saturday. So when I am there Fridays and Saturdays, I'll do the best I can to try to put content up, but if I'm missing a couple of days, it's because I am just spread too thin. So I'll do the best I can on that. So give me a little bit of leeway there. But the Turning Point event should be really, really good. I'm looking forward to it. And so that'll be this weekend. But let's talk about what everyone's talking about, or they should be talking about, and that is this continuing resolution, okay? So this is how Washington works. They put it off, they kick the can down the road, They do everything at the last minute, and then when they do it at the last minute, it becomes a crisis, right? So they have to do everything at the last minute as a crisis, and typically it's usually right before the end of the year, right before they take off for Christmas and New Year's and all that stuff. And if you don't sign on to all of our crazy spending, then you're the problem, right? That's exactly how they do this. President Trump and, of course, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, they're not having any of it. And as a matter of fact, they have been able to pressure the House Republicans and Mike Johnson, who, by the way, needs to go. We need to vacate that chair as soon as we can, as soon as we take over the House. We need a brand new House Speaker. So hopefully they're going to do that. But anyway, President Trump, J.D. Vance, Vivek, Elon Musk, they're all watching this thing like a hawk because they understand if this thing was to pass, which it won't, but if it was, guess what? It would have put them back out all the way to like June before they could cut any spending because it would have been at the end of the year cramming all this crap in. So a statement from President Donald J. Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. The most foolish and inept thing ever done by congressional Republicans was allowing our country to hit the debt ceiling in 2025. It was a mistake and is now something that must be addressed immediately. Meanwhile, Congress is considering a spending bill that would give sweetheart provisions for government censors and for Liz Cheney. The bill would make it easier to hide the records of these corrupt January 6 committee members, which accomplished absolutely nothing for the American people and hid security failures that happened on that day. This bill would also give Congress a pay increase while many Americans are still struggling even during this Christmas. Increasing the debt ceiling is not great, but we'd rather do it on Biden's watch. If Democrats won't cooperate on the debt ceiling, what makes anyone think that they would do it in June during our administration? Let's have this debate now, and we should pass a streamlined spending bill that doesn't give Chuck Schumer and the Democrats anything that they want. Republicans want to support our farmers, pay for disaster relief, and set our country up for success in 2025. The only way to do this is with a temporary funding bill without Democrat giveaways and combined with an increase in the debt ceiling. Anything else is a betrayal to our country. So this is what President Trump has said. Now, recently, there's been a lot of action. I'm going to get to it here. But it says from Donald Trump, if Republicans try to pass a clean continuing resolution without all the Democrat bells and whistles that will be so destructive to our country, all it will do after January 20th is bring this mess of the debt limit into the Trump administration. Rather than allowing it to take place in the Biden administration, any Republican that would be so stupid as to do this should and will be primaried. Everything should be done and fully negotiated prior to me taking office on January 20th, 2025. Then he updated, it sounds like the ridiculous and extraordinarily expensive continuing resolution is dying fast, but can anyone imagine passing it without either terminating or extending the debt ceiling guillotine coming up in June? Unless the Democrats terminate or substantially extend the debt ceiling now, I will fight till the end. This is a nasty trap set in place by the radical left Democrats that are looking to embarrass us in June when it comes up for another vote. The people that extended it from September, from September 28th to June 1st should be ashamed of themselves. It was political malpractice. Also, the Communist Global Engagement Center, a project of crooked Hillary Clinton, should not in any way, shape, or form be extended, and the shielding of the very corrupt January 6th Unselect Committee of political losers and thugs would be suicidal for any Republican approving it. Likewise, this is not a good time for Congress to be asking for pay increases. Hopefully you'll be entitled to such an increase in the near future when we make America great again. So that was President Trump. Now, this was, in my opinion, the most tone-deaf, evil, sadistic, sinister possible bill that you could ever imagine coming forward. After the shellacking that Democrats took in this election and the mandate that President Trump won, to think that they didn't learn a darn thing, literally nothing. But I'm going to let Jesse Waters, you know what he looks like, so you don't need to see him, but I'm going to let you listen to Jesse Waters, and he explains it and breaks it down, and my goodness, this bill is insane, and thankfully it's going down in flames. But listen to how crazy this is.
Christmas is only a week away, and while you're out doing last-minute shopping, so's Congress. But here's the difference. You have a budget, Congress doesn't. And Congress just got caught trying to put $100 billion on our credit card. How long does $100 billion last? Probably all year, right? No, 2.5 months. And then they do it all again. Look at this. Look how many pages this is. It's 1,500 pages. They released it last night. We're supposed to read it and vote on it today. But no one read it, except us.
Not true. Yes, maybe Jesse might have read it or had his people read it. Elon Musk and Vivek went through this thing together, okay? And they read the whole thing. And they skimmed through it, and they had other people reading it too, because 1,500 pages is a lot to read. But they went through it, and they went through it with assistance with Doge, and they pointed out some of the most horrific things that they tried to pass.
They tried to write into law that no one's allowed to look at Congress's emails. So if I get a subpoena, you get a subpoena, we have to hand our emails over. But
can you imagine that? They actually tried to pass something in this continuous resolution that says you can't look at our emails. We could be committing crimes of the century, which we are, of course, everywhere. We could be doing all kinds of things with underage boys and girls. We could be dealing drugs from our Senate offices. You can't know about it.
Congress, if they get a subpoena, they don't have to. So if Trump wants to investigate the January 6th committee to find out what happened, you can't see the politicians' emails. If Nancy's texting Paulie P. about investment opportunities, no one's allowed to see it. Congress just tried to write a law that puts them above the law. I thought no one was above the law. Didn't they say that all last year? Congress is also funding a censorship program. They're giving money to the State Department to censor things that they don't like online. We're funding Congress to take away our free speech. And remember, vax mandates. They're back.
So in this continuing resolution, there's secret censorship and mandates, vaccine mandates. These people have not learned a fucking thing, okay? And you want to know why we're so angry and pissed off and full of venom for these people and want to do things to them that we can't say because for obvious reasons? But this is the reasons why we are feeling this way.
Congress is funding more vax mandates, you know, for the next pandemic. The section of the bill is called Pandemic Preparedness. Gain of function, you know, the risky experiments that flew out of Wuhan and killed 1 million of us. Congress is trying to fund gain of function research again.
Because 1 million people that got killed wasn't enough, right? The gain of function where they were splicing these genes and viruses and transmitting these viruses into other viruses to create these fucking super viruses, that wasn't enough, right? That wasn't uncontained enough that it escaped the lab and went around the entire globe and killed 7 to 9 million people. No. That wasn't enough death for these psychopaths. No, they want to do it again.
I'm sure not here in America. I'm sure we funded it to some other country like Ukraine or China, somewhere in Africa. Oh, no, 12 new biolabs that won't leak, they swear. $3 million to test the inspection of molasses. Not to test the molasses, to inspect the...
I grew up always on the bigger side as a kid.
Sorry about that.
I was always slightly thicker.
Didn't expect that.
Have we been having trouble with bad molasses? Was there a molasses recall that I missed? Instead of inspecting the inspectors, why don't the first line of inspectors just do their job? $15 million to make recycling more accessible. It's not accessible now. Everywhere you look, there's a blue bin. When you throw something out, like 5 different little bins, and you're analyzing what goes in which one. Does this go in this bin? This recycling all goes to the same place anyway. Half the plastics in landfills. And $100 million goes to migrant farm workers. Well,
not American farm workers. Migrant farm workers.
Why don't the farms pay the migrants? Not sure. Gavin's vineyard needs us to pay his migrants to pick his grapes. He's not making enough money from wine. He needs a subsidy. Why are we paying for Gavin Newsom to get paid? He can't get paid without our help. Must not be very good wine. But I'm willing to test it if he sends me some. And this is a 5-year, $100 million contract. Once this thing passes, Doge can't touch it. Oh, and they're...
Now you know why Elon and Vivek were so pissed off at this and why they were able to cause enough, chaos and friction and, getting loud and everything else. And, of course, President Trump joining because it would have destroyed their ability to do Doge. Because this, like he said, was 5 years. And so they did all these secret things to set up these booby traps against President Trump and the new administration. These people are evil. They don't give a shit about us. They certainly don't care about the results of an election. And it's really, really sick. Really sick.
Keeping Kamala's electric bus program. Kamala lost, but her earmark didn't. No one cares about electric buses, remember?
Haven't you always wanted an electric bus charging station?
Hell no. Why would I want that? What's that going to do? I barely catch the bus.
Oh, no, that sucks.
How excited are you to go green?
What's to be excited for?
Are you excited for the electric bus charging station?
I don't really care.
Are you excited for the electric bus charging station? No?
The bill also bans sexy memes. Yeah, here's a sexy Jesse deepfake. I look good, but I don't look that good. I guess people have been putting AOC's face on bikini models in the group chat. Well, Congress says you can't make us look too hot, or you're going to prison. Memes are a crime.
So now they wanted to basically criminalize memes. Imagine that. Unreal. These people are evil. This government that we had for 4 years is evil. And thank God it is going to end. Because if it didn't end through the electoral process, it would have had to end another way.
Oh, and the bill's also woke. It changes the term offender to justice-involved individual, and homeless to an individual experiencing homelessness. Who wrote this bill? The Republicans have the majority. I swear to God, the squad wrote this thing. Doesn't stop there. Remember Obamacare? You hate it, right? So does Congress. But now Congress gets to opt out of Obamacare. You're not allowed to opt out. Congress, the people who wrote Obamacare into law, they don't like it. So they're opting out of it because they think they're better than you and they deserve more. And they actually do think they deserve more. Congress is trying to give themselves a raise.
Members are giving themselves a pay raise. Do you guys deserve a pay raise?
Well, that's news to me. It's good news.
People look at the performance of Congress and say, why should...
It's news to you, Dick Turpin, because you didn't read the fucking bill either, douchebag.
we give them more money?
What about the media? Think about that for a second.
And we're not paid by public money.
I know you're not, but I mean, half of your listeners are not there anymore. Are you still getting the same paycheck? What's going on?
Congress is giving themselves a $6,000 raise to keep up with the cost of living. Now, why has the cost of living gone up?
Because of them.
Because of Congress. Congress is trying to give themselves a raise to keep up with the cost of living that they caused because they spent so much. Elon Musk says the bill is criminal, and anyone who votes for it should be voted out of office. And he has the money to make that happen. Elon blew this bill up all day. He and Vivek were all over it, and it lit a fire under the politicians.
This is a sandwich. I don't know how else to say that. We're being forced into this position.
Swamp's going to swamp, right? We've said we'd do something different. Since we've been given the majority again, we're adding $330 billion in literally totally unpaid for additional deficit spending just since November 5th in 45 days. I don't see how that's doing what we're supposed to be doing. We're just fundamentally unserious about spending. And as long as you got a blank check, you can't shrink government. If you can't shrink government, you can't live free.
The Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, says he had no choice.
Elon and Vivek and I are on a text chain together, and I was explaining to them the background of this. And Vivek and I talked last night about almost midnight. They understand the situation. They said, it's not directed to you, Mr. Speaker, but we don't like the spending. I said, guess what, fellas? I don't either. We got to get this done because here's the key. By doing this, we are clearing the decks, and we are setting up for Trump to come in roaring back.
No, we're not, you squinty-eyed little prick. No, we're not. Johnson needs to go. He's a big Johnson. Actually, he's a little Johnson. But he needs to go. This guy is a piece of garbage, okay? We need someone serious that's going to be the House Speaker. We need an Andy Biggs. We need a Byron Donalds. We need a Paul Gosar. You know, we need somebody that's going to say, it's over. The old way of doing things in Washington are done, okay? We're not going to do it anymore. But instead, we have this little pissant that speaks nicely, but is full of it, and is really secretly a liberal. I mean, it's clear as day. This guy is not a Republican. He is a total liberal pissant, and he needs to go.
With the America First agenda.
Clearing the decks? What does that mean? I don't know what clearing the decks means. They keep saying this is going to stop, and every year they say, this is the last time we're going to do this. And then every year they do it again. And now people aren't too happy with Mike.
Are you already not planning to vote for him?
This solidifies it.
Have any other of your colleagues said that they're not
This is Thomas Massey.
voting for Johnson? Any express?
I've talked to a few, who don't seem like they're going to vote for him. I'll vote for somebody else.
Does it have a strength to reform this institution that is broken? I am not sure, and I haven't seen that. I haven't seen structural reforms that he would do to change this institution. And this is not the way to govern. That's not what the American people elected us to do.
So what are we going to do now? We're going to toss Johnson overboard like they did with McCarthy?
Yes.
Then what? Everyone they make speaker spends money. Do we have to bring back Newt? Trump put out a statement. If Republicans try to pass a clean, continuing resolution without all the Democrat bells and whistles.
Okay, I went through all that already. I don't want to do the whole thing. But here's the bottom line. Another thing that was in this was $3 billion for a new Washington Redskins stadium. Okay? That's right. The NFL makes $20 billion, a year, if not way more than that, from all their advertising and television contracts and everything else, and their apparel and, everything that they do, not ticket sales, everything. And yet we would have to somehow pay $3 billion for them to have a new stadium? They're so damn woke they can't even call themselves the Redskins anymore? Get out of here, okay? But you know what? I really am very encouraged about one thing and one thing in particular. Doge is a great idea. It clearly is. Is it going to get done 100%? Not even close. Are they going to get some things done? Yeah, they probably will. But you know what Elon and Vivek, and really, honestly, Elon more than anyone else, or even Charlie Kirk for that matter, but really Elon because he's got the cash, he could become the House and the Senate enforcer. And you know what he should do? He ought to get every single member of the House and the Senate in a closed-door meeting. And he ought to get them in there and said, here's what we're going to do when we take over. Okay? We are going to cut spending. We are going to cut all of this excess waste in our government. We're going to eliminate people. We're going to eliminate agencies. We are going to do it all. We are now in control. And here I am telling all of you, House members and Senate members, you're going to do it the way Trump wants it done and I want it done. And if you don't, I am the world's richest man. Don't F with me. You will lose your career 100% because I have the money to bury your asses. So if you don't get in line with what we want, your career in Washington is f***ing over. That's what he needs to do. He needs to go in there like Glenn Ross. You remember that real estate show many years ago? It was a movie. Who was in that? Alec Baldwin was in it. Al Pacino, a bunch of people. Anyway, it's about this real estate office, and they want these certain leads, right? And Jack Lemmon, yeah, he was an older actor. He's in it, and they're all sitting in this meeting, and Alec Baldwin comes in, and Jack Lemmon goes to get some coffee, and he goes, "Put down that fucking coffee. Coffee's for closers, you losers," and he's yelling and screaming. That's what Elon Musk needs to do. He needs to go in there and close the door, kick out the media, and say, we're not leaving. I don't care how long it takes. We're not leaving until every single one of you signs a pledge that you will go with President Trump's agenda no matter what. And if you don't, your careers are going to end. That's what Elon Musk can bring to the Trump administration. Never mind Doge and all the other things. Yes, that's great. That's wonderful. But he could take the hammer of money with these disgusting Republican assholes and say, look, it's over. The gravy train is over. You are no longer going to think for yourselves. You are no longer going to do anything except what we can tell you to do. Because you're only in power because of us. You rode our coattails to victory. So don't you forget it. And if you need a reminder, that's what I'm here for. Elon Musk needs to do that with every single one of these rhino senators. I'm talking about a verbal bitch slap, okay? Without physically hitting them, I'm talking at a verbal bitch slap. He needs to sit Susan Collins down and Lisa Murkowski and go, look, you are going to sign on to every single piece of legislation that comes up in front of you in the Senate. If you don't, I will see to it personally that you will be out of Congress, you will be so broke, you will be so destitute that you will have to go to a dumpster for dinner, okay? That's what we're going to do to you because we're not going around anymore. New sheriff in town, new way of doing things. We've got a mandate, and damn it, we're going to implement it. And that's it. That's what he needs to do. And President Trump needs to send Elon Musk and Vivek into the House, into the Senate, and let them say exactly what I just said. And yes, use the colorful language. These Republican senators and House members need to know they are no longer allowed to think independently. You are to get in line, and you are to not be objectionists and stop this agenda. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fundamentally change Washington, and you little pissant bitches are not going to stop me. And that's what he needs to do. That's what he needs to do. And I hope and pray that he does exactly that. We'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, those are my thoughts for this evening. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.